Are you wondering whether there is sex after divorce? Well, don't fear, there is. And today I have a gal who's going to talk to us about sex after divorce. She's going to talk to us about not freaking out and how you should approach it. So my guest for today is Delaine Moore. And Delaine is the author of a memoir. It's called The Secret Sex Life of a Single Mom. It's available on Amazon, but even more exciting for me and probably a lot of people out there listening is the fact that this is going to be made into a movie on Lifetime, and it's going to be released in 2014. It will be starring Ashley Jones and Alex Carter, so I'm sure Delaine is going to share more info about that upcoming movie. But in addition to being an author, she's a journalist, speaker, and an NLP therapist, and a Mars Venus business and life coach based out of Calgary, Alberta. So welcome, Delaine, and thank you for joining us today on the Family Law Insider podcast.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. So congratulations on the book and on the movie.
Yeah, thank you.
And so let's talk a little bit about the inspiration, because based on what I've gathered, the movie is based on your book. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, it is.
Okay. So can you tell me, Delaine, what it was that inspired you to write the book?
Well, I was married for 7 years, and during that time I had 3 kids. And, you know, relationships, they just get complicated, and that's what I found myself in. And, you know, suddenly infidelities entered the picture, and I was spat out into a singlehood that I had no idea how to navigate. And the changes that happened that year in my life, they happened so hard and fast, and I needed an outlet. So I sat down to write this book thinking that nobody else was ever going to read it, but here we are a few years later, and there's a book, and yeah, now there's a movie.
Learning to trust yourself. Did you have some interesting experiences, Delaine?
Well, Wendy.
Is there any you'd be willing to share? What are the things you discovered about sex and dating while you were on your journey?
Oh, I mean, there's just so many different things. I mean, when I wrote my book, I didn't write it to try to titillate my readers. I figured that by the time we get to our age bracket that all of us know what good sex looks like. But I guess one of the things that I was really surprised about is that there was so much more for me to learn. Like, I really just didn't realize that. I thought I knew my body well. I thought I knew what my body was capable of doing and not doing. And even in that respect, I was wrong.
Oh, wow.
What I discovered, I think, sort of in the big picture is that my passionate self, that fiery part of who I am, I had really sublimated her in my role as a mom and a wife. And so to reconnect with that energy and to allow sort of that fiery, bold, fun part of me to come out and maybe take more risks, not like crazy risks, but just to reconnect with that energy and to feel that. I mean, it's not just about sex, it's about just getting out there in life again. And I just become so, I don't know, I guess, I hate to use the word boring, but responsible. I was responsible in so many respects. And so what I consider risque, other people may not. But so, for example, I went to a sex club. So some people might go, you know. But for others, it's like, hey, no big deal. Did I participate in anything? No, I did not. However, I did go for an evening. Some people might judge me just for the fact that I set foot in a sex club. But that was a really interesting experience, and that brought me even more questions around relationships, around sexuality, where the boundaries are, what's okay, what's not okay. I also explored DS, which is dominant submission. And this was before the 50 Shades of Grey thing came out. I stumbled upon it all by myself. I had a couple of different relationships with men who I was learning from. I was learning about myself through my relationships with these men, constantly challenging them, constantly questioning them, but inevitably arriving at a place where I felt like I was comfortable with these relationships. And I ended up flying down to the United States because I am in Canada, and I did meet with a sexual dominant in the United States. And so I had my first sort of like hands-on experience with that sort of realm as well, which was again, just a mind-blowing experience for me, not just physically or sexually, but emotionally, and sort of reclaiming, emotional and mental power that I hadn't realized that I had gone without.
Yeah.
So I guess I would just say to people, everyone's unique. You've got your own boundaries, your own sense of self. Just be open to the possibility of more.